What's up? It's Retro P, aka Young Retro. And of course, with me is my hold up, God's most gorgeous creation. Tell them who you are, beautiful.
I'm Nia Faye.
Yes. aka
Rollywood, baby.
And we are back with another video. And we're not cooking this time. We're here to give advice and give tips on
college.
Yes, specifically in-state versus out-of-state. And we're just gonna basically give our experiences and why we chose which one and just talk about that. So if you're out there struggling to decide what you're trying to do or what you want to do, this could be a good video to help you out to see what it was like. Well, I chose out-of-state because, you know, first I went to school in New York. I went to Mercy College, and I went there because I always wanted to go to New York, and you know, they offered me a scholarship and all that, and it was really cool because I got to check something off my list basically about, you know, going to New York, because that's like one of the main places I wanted to go at least one point in my life and live there. And also, you know, I wanted to at one point just get out of North Carolina because I've been here my whole life. So that's why I chose out of state, and a lot of experiences there too because I do make music, and you know, New York is like one of the places to go for music, so I got to go there as well for that. Why did you choose in-state?
I chose in-state university because, I mean, it really boiled down to money, why I chose the specific university that I chose. You know, scholarships, financial aid, how all that worked out, but I found that the in-state university was a good choice for me because I actually live like 30 miles away from my school, so, you know, my parents could pick me up on Friday nights and I could spend the weekend at home and then come back on Monday. And it was just, you know, a good thing for me, being like a homebody, being very comfortable where I'm comfortable.
That's very interesting too because I am also a homebody, but for some reason I really wanted to go away from home. So I guess the reason I chose to do that as well is because to expand my comfort zone, because, you know, I guess me personally, I felt like if I stayed here, then I would only be comfortable here, so it'd be nice to go somewhere else. And it wasn't easy at first, you know, I actually like really didn't like it at first and like wanted to leave, but I stayed, and it worked out. Like I met some really cool people and made some really cool friends, and you know, I had some pretty great experiences with that.
What about like moving? Like, how was the move from North Carolina to New York?
The moving from North Carolina to New York, that wasn't that bad, you know, like it just, I had to get all my stuff, and then I guess the drive, because we drove there, so you know, I had to drive a really long time, and then I had to put all the stuff into my room, and that wasn't that bad. But the part that like made it kind of suck is that I wouldn't see my girlfriend or my parents and all them like that often, and you know, that kind of sucks. But I felt like I wanted to go out of state and enjoy out of state. But what about you? Like, how's the movie for in-state?
The move for in-state, I think any move for college is just very emotional and just a lot and can be very overwhelming no matter what kind of move you choose, because I, you know, had 2 cars, packed all this stuff, we had to drive there, and I felt like the drive was too short because I was like, I'm not ready for all this going on. But I definitely had a lot of help, a lot of family support, and even though I was only like maybe 45 minutes away from my house, it felt really far.
So what's it like to be able to just see your family, I guess, like once a week if you really wanted to?
It's actually, for me, it was amazing. You know, I had to get acclimated to that college life, that college culture, so it was very shocking for me. So I went through a period where I really didn't want to be at school. I wanted to be at home. So, you know, it was everything. It was like the shower situation, the sleeping situation, dealing with people. So it was just really nice to be able to go home on the weekends versus like having to wait for a holiday or something.
Yes, and I didn't have that experience. And the thing that made it even worse is, basically when you go out of state, you're gonna meet a lot of people that are going in-state. So like what that means is when I went to school in New York, a lot of people there are from New York, so you know, they just get to go home. So a lot of the time my friends wouldn't be there on the weekend, so it would just be me by myself, and you know, it's kind of boring, but I guess that's one of the sacrifices you have to make. And like, I don't get to see my parents every weekend, or I get to talk to them on the phone and all that, but for me personally, I guess that's kind of what I wanted, because I just didn't want to feel like, I guess for me, like, feel like high school still where I get to see my parents so often. I kind of want to be on my own. Not that I'm like completely on my own, because my parents are still supporting me, but to start to make that transition to being on my own and make it a little bit more easier.
What about the cost? Like for you,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I think out-of-state tuition is typically more.
That's true. Yeah, so that's one. I guess that's a con, and like something you got to be willing to sacrifice as well is the cost, because obviously it's going to cost more to go to school out of state. So you know that's more money versus in-state. But I mean, if you're willing to, you know, pay the price, or like you feel like the long-term benefits are going to outlast just that cost there, then of course you should do it and like experience something new. Some people, they just want to stay home or like stay close to home and they're fine with their situation. But if you feel like you want to go experience something new, I would say don't let the money necessarily slow you down.
For sure.
So yeah, I got a good question.
Okay.
So me, since I went to school out of state, you know, there's not people there that I'm gonna know that easily. But if you go to school in state, I'm sure there's gonna be people that you go to school with that you knew from high school and all that stuff. So like, what's that like to see people from your past, like at the same college as you, or like kind of living with them now?
You are kind of living with them, but you know, I think there are pros and cons to it. You know, you might have somebody you have a little history with on your college campus, but it's honestly, especially Central, you know, I gotta shout out my school. Central is that perfect size, I feel like, because it's small enough that you see the same people every day, but it's also big enough that you see a new person that you've never seen before every single day. So you don't have to see them if you don't want to. Like if you have bad blood with somebody from high school, you know, some old little drama or something, you're not really gonna run into them. That's kind of a myth, especially if your school is bigger. So if you go to school like Central, A&T, you know, something like that.
If you go to school like Mercy, which is a small school, you're gonna see people all the time. And if you have bad blood with them, I guess you just gotta be mature enough to not do anything insane and crazy. Because obviously I had some roommate situations where, you know, I didn't have the best roommate in the world, and we can make a whole another video about that.
Yes, let's not get into
like,
it.
Roommates, but yeah, you know, just kind of being what's the word? Cordial. That's the word.
Cordial and considerate.
Yeah, but you know, that's another thing with out of state. You don't really run into people that you know that often, so it's kind of like you gotta get to make a whole new experience, like, or like kind of start fresh or whatever you really want to do, and like build from that.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Definitely think about what college means to you. I think, does college mean like, this is my emancipation, this is my time, I can break out of my home and I'm gonna go get some new experiences for myself, I'm gonna meet new people. If that's you, if that's how you're feeling right now, then you might want to look at getting as far away from home as possible if that's what your spirit needs. But for me, I had a very comfortable, you know, upbringing and everything, and I wasn't even probably ready to leave home, but it was time for college, so I just picked something. You know, you still get that independence when you go to in-state school, something close to home. You definitely get some independence. You're not gonna be able to call mommy and daddy every day. Sometimes, not every day, but yeah, I think it's a sweet spot for somebody, you know, homebody, introverted, comfortable. Oh, back to that people on campus that you know thing. If you have a good relationship with somebody from your high school or whatever, it's awesome because you get to watch them grow up. You get to watch them become an adult, you know, do adult things, become more mature, become wiser, get to watch them, you know. It's actually kind of cool. So like, I knew you in high school, but now I'm watching you become who you really are. So yeah.
Another thing about out of state, if you don't like flying, it might not be for you. Because I want to let y'all know I do not like flying, but the flight's only an hour, so I can do an hour. I feel like the longest I can do on an airplane is 3 hours. After that, I'm not flying on a plane. Make sure you know, really look into that, because, you know, airplane tickets, those are not cheap, so you gotta really, like, I guess, schedule when. Just make sure you do everything in advance, like coming home for Christmas and all that stuff. Try to buy it earlier, because it's gonna be a lot more costly if you don't. Or maybe you're gonna stay up there, or like wherever you are. Like maybe I'd stay in New York, like with a friend or something. Just, you know, kind of figure out your situation. That's another thing with being out of state, is what are you gonna do with your summers? Some people I know who did out of state, they stayed up in New York and got internships and all that. Me personally, I came back home during the summer and worked here. So that's another thing, like with out of state, is deciding what you're gonna do with your time off. Another cool thing, I don't know, I keep thinking of stuff.
Yeah, it's flowing.
Another cool thing about being out of state is that maybe you found where you want to live after college. You know, I know a lot of people as well who decided to stay in New York after they finished, and like basically want to live there and start their life there versus where they originally are from. and that wasn't my experience. I like North Carolina. I got to experience New York, and of course, maybe one day I'll go back, but I want to come back here to see my boo.
Yay! In-state school is amazing. You know, it's about you. You gotta get introspective. I remember, the thing that I remember most clearly about picking a college was how introspective I had to get. And I was like, okay, this is about me. I'm stuck with this choice. All your life, your parents have been like, go here, do this, do that, check this out, get this done. But this is really like your first major life decision that, you know, even if they don't want you to go out of state, you know, because your parents never want you to go out of state necessarily. But, you know, it matters to you, but you really gotta decide, okay, this is really what I want, and I know this is gonna be good for me.
Yeah.
What about the relationships that you built while you were there?
Yeah, relationships. Yes, I made a lot of cool friends up there and like met a lot of cool people, and I felt like it was the right move because, you know, like they all have been, what's the word? I can't think of the word. They've all been, I guess, important in my life in like certain ways and like helping me go the right direction and like helping me decide on what to do in life and like, you know, being placed in the right spot at the right time, I guess. I don't know.
Definitely.
But yeah.
Can we get spiritual? I definitely had my doubts about my decision. Like I wasn't feeling Gucci about my college situation, but I definitely got some confirmation, you know, we were still in church. So I, you know, got some confirmation from someone at church, you know, that you are here at this university and this campus for such a time as this. So whatever that meant, you know, I just got confirmation that I was supposed to be there. It definitely was the right decision, even if it didn't feel like it all the time. Being at an in-state school, I did like meet people, like, cause I'm home, right? So I'm thinking everybody here is also like from North Carolina, kind of, or something. But I met people from New York, Baltimore, Georgia, everything, and we got to like talk about what our home means.
When I went to New York, you gotta adjust and like, I guess figure stuff out because, you know, I'm talking to my friends like, yo, we should get like some Bojangles and stuff. And they're like, what in the world is Bojangles? Like, and I'm like, what? You don't know what I'm talking about? Or like Cookout and all this stuff. And this is all stuff, if you're from North Carolina, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, then you're missing out. And stuff like that, you know, and like Food Lion. I thought everybody had Food Lion, but apparently they don't.
I don't regret my decision though. I love my school. It grew on me. I had a great experience. But yeah, I think there's nothing like New York or nothing like, you know, finding yourself and your independence.
Yeah.
Being that far away from home. So, what about you?
No, I don't regret going to New York. I like my school as well. I'm not one of those people that are like, you know, huge on school pride type things. Like, you'll never see me like, I guess, being a diehard like Mercy College fan. But I do appreciate going to Mercy College and going to New York. And I wouldn't do anything different because I felt like I made the right choice. What are some sacrifices you made that you feel like you made going to in-state?
I kind of gave up a little bit of that independence, just a little bit, because I have an older sister, so they kind of got the helicopter parenting thing out of the way. So they weren't, you know, owning you what you doing, where you going, where you coming home, and all this stuff. But because they are so close, it's their business what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So you have independence, you do make your own decisions, and it's your life, but your parents and your family are also very involved because they're also close. Some
stuff I sacrificed going out of state is missing out on some stuff like family events. Like I remember my sister's baby reveal thing. I had to watch it online instead of being there with everybody else, and that kind of sucked. But some other stuff too is like missing out on my beautiful girlfriend.
Aww,
I missed her.
I missed you.
And yeah, I mean, those are some things, I guess not necessarily regrets, but just some things that I had to like sacrifice to get the experience that I felt was for me. And I still think I made the right choice, but now I get to make up for it being here all the time and experiencing everything.
All that time.
So yeah, with that being said, you know, you got to hear both sides of out of state versus in state and like what we thought of what it was and basically why we chose what we chose and our experiences, and hopefully that helps you decide a little bit better on what you want to do. And if you're still confused on what you want to do, that's okay, because it's okay not to know everything right now. That's basically the video, so you guys know to go like, share, subscribe, post notifications on. What else?
I think
Comments.
Yeah.
And yeah. So you got anything else to say?
Nope.
She said nope. So we'll see you guys next time. And we are out of here. Goodbye.
Ah!